Hello everybody, welcome back. Gavin McCormack here. Now this week we're talking all about ice and we're in the Great Southern Ocean in Antarctica. And as you can see behind me, there's a huge iceberg just floating in the water. Now just to let you know, whenever you see an iceberg, about 10 to 15% is above, but below the water is a colossal 85%. So this iceberg that you can see, although it looks big now, is absolutely gigantic. Now ice is extremely important here in the Antarctic for many, many reasons. One of those reasons is that they actually reflect light from the sun back into the atmosphere, keeping the earth nice and cool. But another amazing reason, and this links into the animals that live here, is that underneath the water where the ice is, this is a home for phytoplankton, a tiny microorganism that grows, krill comes along, feeds off of it, and then the mighty humpback whale swoops in and eats all of those krill. So it's extremely important. Now this week, we're going to have a really amazing creative art lesson with Jordan here. Hello, Jordan.
Hello, Gavin.
Now Jordan's going to talk a little bit about how we can use color and texture and tone to make images like the iceberg right behind me. Jordan, tell us exactly what we're going to do.
Well, it's really interesting that you said that the iceberg reflects light. That's what's really important here, because light is how we see things. I should say we see light bouncing off of things. And the way that we're seeing this iceberg behind us is because all of the blue light is reflected off and is going into our eye. And we see light areas of blue, we see darker areas of blue, and it creates what is known in art as a monochromatic color scheme.
Cool.
Now, with that, mono means one, and chroma means color. So in this iceberg is just blue, but it's lighter and darker shades of blue, because we're seeing a different variation in that.
Are you telling me that if I wanted to paint this iceberg behind me, I could do it with just one color?
Yes, just one color, blue. But we would need to control how it's lighter and darker. And probably the easiest way to do that would be to take the blue and add white to it. Now, we would use different ratios for that. We would use different amounts of white and different amounts of blue. And if you take a look at the iceberg specifically, you're going to see some lighter parts which use more white and some darker parts which use more blue. Now, there's also something special about the way the iceberg is changing that light and dark. You'll notice some areas of the iceberg have a very dark section next to a very light section, and it changes really quickly. We call that direct value shift. Means it changes really quick from dark to light. And it happens in those areas that have really sharp edges or angles. And in the areas where it starts changing slowly, the light changes ever so slowly from light into the medial range, which is kind of the medium values, going into dark. Those are the areas that are curved or rounded. We call those organic parts.
Wow, right. So this week, we actually want you to try to recreate the iceberg right behind us. Can you draw it? Can you paint it? Can you color it? Can you create something that looks like this just using one color, but as Jordan said, changing the tone of that color by adding white? Is that correct?
Yep. Try a lot of white and just maybe a drop of blue, or maybe equal parts of white and blue together, and maybe the opposite, where you're using a lot of blue and just a little bit of white.
Now, once you feel confident that you can create something like this, your job is then to go and find other objects. Maybe objects that are completely green, maybe like a leaf that has dark parts and light parts, and create a number of paintings or creations using the same strategy that Jordan has talked about today. So take a look at this iceberg behind us, go and recreate it, and maybe when you've finished, you might want to use your artwork to teach other people about exactly what Jordan has just taught us all today. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thanks very much, Gavin.